Alright guys, Jason here with a rare kitchen presentation of some things, yet some more things that I got back from storage. Number of things here. I didn't want to have to hold the camera and try and go through a lot of this stuff, so until I come up with something better, this is really the best way I can come up with for you guys to see everything within the camera and not have you everything right in your face. So what I got here is some more books, as you can imagine. 100 Days, nothing too special there. And we have Napoleonic Wars. Diary of a Napoleonic Foot Soldier. If you haven't read this, do so. It is some gruesome stuff. Of course, deals with some retreating from Moscow, and if you can imagine, that was some pretty brutal, intense things going on there. This one, 3 Napoleonic Battles, more of an academic type study. And this one's not hard to find, Napoleon's Wars. And then a couple more. David Chandler, the main name in the business, Dictionary of the Napoleonic Wars. Again, in the previous video I explained that I couldn't find his other book. Somewhere buried. And then Napoleon's Road to Glory by J. David Markham. If you're not familiar with him, there's a podcast that is phenomenal. I think I've listened to it twice actually, and it is a long series. The Napoleon Bonaparte podcast, I believe, is what it's called, oddly enough. And there's an Australian chap that kind of MCs it, and then has J. David Markham on each show as the resident historian. They work great together. The rapport they have with each other is fantastic. Again, I'm pretty sure it's called the Napoleon Bonaparte podcast. Check that out. This guy knows his stuff, and that's why I picked up this book by him. That's J. David Markham. Not the easiest to find book, but you know, you can get anything online, right? Don't believe it's something you can go to Barnes & Noble and get, that type of thing. Now, I may bring you down here just for a sec to get a better close-up view of this. This is a, now we're in the shadow. See, it's always problems. If it ain't one thing, it's a stinking another. So this is a tiger tank. And for scale, let's see, there's my hand. So it's fairly big. And I think I picked this up at I don't know, Toys R Us, I believe. And it is probably, out of the box it came like this. I didn't have to put anything together. I didn't do any painting. A lot of that's just a bore to me. It's not going to do you justice, but there's actually the inside of the turret is done as well. Probably one of the most beautiful, again, out of the box, ready to go tanks. It's not an RC vehicle, it's just all plastic, no die-cast metal. But the thing's beautiful, and it's been sitting in storage, getting all dusted up, and the weathering effect looked kind of natural, actually. So got that out as a display piece. This thing is one of my favorite things. This little tiger tank here. And then the main event, you know, I've got, I haven't even gone through these yet, so we can go through these together and see what we've got. And this is the best, again, this is the best of all possible scenarios, the way this is set up. So it's not perfect, but again, it's the best. So this, of course, may be recognizable to some of you. This is the original couple of map boards from Squad Leader, blown up to, as you can see, a rather sizable map, all paper. I actually think, since this was in storage, I did this again about 6 months ago, just because it's so fun to play on that big surface like that. So there's one. Oh, and I have 2 other things I gotta grab for you. Remind me before I finish this video to show you the other 2 things. This is Bonaparte at Marengo. Before I actually had the game, I had printed out all the components and pieces and hijacked the thing and played it. I did buy the game, and in fact, I have 2 copies of Napoleon's Triumph, so man's got his money. I didn't rip anybody off. Yeah, I had a lot of fun learning this and playing this. So that is just 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper taped together. That became a standard, I don't know if you can see this, probably looks just like a sheet of white ice. Anyway, need better lighting. There's that. Sorry if you can't see it. I'm a mess. Let's see, Columbia Games. This would be, some grass mat. Look yonder. For some miniature stuff. That always comes in handy. Columbia Games, Napoleon. That game, yeah. Another game that, believe it or not, all the components are online, can be printed out, put together, and played. So, if that interests you, it's there for you. I did also, by the way, purchase this game, finally. I had a lot of fun, and when I say I had a lot of fun playing this, I'm not exaggerating. I spent many hours at the kitchen table trying, as the French, to win. I don't think I was ever successful, but I had a lot of fun with that one. What's next? Let's see. Eastern Front, I believe, or East Front. Oh, this is the Euro Front map that I printed out. Columbia Games. You can see that, my shadow is in the way. Yep. Just more taped together, printed off. How much ink I used back in the day. I don't even own a printer anymore because all the places I worked at, I just used theirs. How much ink I've used over the days and money I've spent. This is Axis and Allies, the D-Day version. Again, the idea behind this was bigger map, more space to place troops, less crowding, etc. And not the prettiest thing, but there's some patches I had to do, and you can see some gaps here. Well, probably my favorite Axis and Allies game, and we'll get to that more of that in a second. Don't play much Axis and Allies these days, but been known to in the past. Let's just cut right to the chase here. The one cool thing about working where I worked for 13 years, which was a textbook warehouse, was me trying to figure out how to print this Axis and Allies map out. And some guy, for whatever reason, a head honcho guy, maybe a kindred spirit, took an interest in what I was trying to do. And as you can see, this thing won't even fit on the kitchen table. This is the revised Axis and Allies Historical Edition map. It's all here, and it's huge, as you can see. Was lucky enough to have this guy help me out and print it out on one of his big, huge, gigantic printers, color printers. Now, you can't necessarily see this from there with the camera, but beware if you do print things out, storage, leaving it out too long in the sunlight, it will fade, it will bleach, and there's a nice stripe. Doesn't impede play. Aesthetically though, it's kind of a Right down the middle, where the sun was shining through in that bedroom I used to use, and had this set up apparently for a long time. What we have is a Russian front. Another game that I own, but for some reason or another decided I needed a bigger map for it. This is Russian front, one of the first maps ever printed out and put together. Just sheets of paper taped together. And I really liked this game as well. I enjoyed playing this. One of the first games I played and really got into, Russian front. Big, huge map there. And then what is that? That is Turning Point Stalingrad map. And again, this stuff is enhanced looks-wise when you put it under the plexiglass, because the plexiglass slightly darkens the lighter colors, so looks pretty good. And this is a long map to begin with, but one of the better Stalingrad maps, in my opinion, that was available on the free market. There may be some black market Stalingrad maps I don't know about on the dark web, but that's the best one I think I can get a hold of. Oh, that's not true. There's Streets of Stalingrad, 2nd edition, 3rd edition. Oh, one of the editions. 2 more things to show you, and then I'll cut you loose. Ooh. Why are you making us wait? Just pause the video and get your crap and then start the video again. Yeah, well, I didn't do that. So this is an actual Flames of War marketing sign, thick cardboard, game friendly local game store, whatever the damn acronym is, flag, flood, flute. Had this and I would drool every time I came in and saw it, and told them, hey, you know, I didn't think it would ever happen, but if you ever get rid of that, let me have it. And lo and behold, I mean, it was a long time had passed. I didn't even know, was surprised they remembered who I was and had asked, but they're like, hey, got something for you, and this dude handed me this. I was like, cool, so this is going up somewhere, somehow. Haven't decided yet in what way. And this is the old, I've taken pictures of this and posted it on Board Game Geek. As time goes by, it looks a little worse each year. This is from warpage and time. But I called in sick one day to work and made this thing. Again, another squad leader board. I think it's board 1 or something. Yeah, board 1. And cut out all the foam and pasted and glued and had a lot of fun doing this. It was a sick day well spent. Had intended to do board 2, but that was enough cutting and pasting for me, and that's all I did. But yeah, there it is. Pretty cool, huh? Again, you can see pictures of this on Squad Leader something or other, Board Game Geek, and I think I've posted pictures of it other places. I'd like to do this with some other mat boards as well. Works out all right. It doesn't. The hexes are big enough. You can actually still use lay them. It's iffy on this, but you can, when you do bypass, you can actually place the hex in a hex with a building, but not in the building, if you know what I'm trying to say. So those are the things. Still waiting on tank dual enemy in the crosshairs. I've got charged, but I haven't received a shipping notice. It's a little curious. On the other side of the coin, I finally broke down and ordered Conflict of Heroes, the Kursk one, 3rd edition. And I think I placed that order in the morning, and then by the afternoon I had a ship notice, and 2 days later it was here. That was the fastest charge, process, out the door, receive, shipment I've ever had in my life. I mean, I can't tell you how impressed I am. And of course the order was right, it came to the right place, no hangups. It was amazing. I'm not gonna do an unboxing of that because there's 10,000 unboxings of that already. Don't need another one, but did get that. And the maps in there are beautiful, and there's some other components, things in there as well that are worth getting the game for. The map, the rule book. You get the new 3rd edition, and I keep doing quotes. There was no 2nd edition of this game. They call it 3rd edition because the other Conflict of Heroes game was the 3rd edition. So I guess to save confusion, they call this 3rd edition to match that. But then people that aren't aware of this are looking for the 2nd edition of this game, and there isn't one, so whatever. And trying to prevent confusion, they inevitably created confusion, but I did order that, didn't need it, but I had to have it, right? Didn't need it, but had to have it. So waiting on Tank Duel still, and Still Napoleonic stuff on the game board. No point in showing you that. You've seen it already. So that's that. It's about 15 minutes in now. I need to get ready for sleep. Got work tomorrow. But more show and tell stuff, and that's it as far as storage stuff. It is all here now where I live. So the only problem I have is where to put all this stuff. I've got boxes and miniatures and just stuff everywhere. It's an awesome problem to have. All right, y'all. Take care. I'll talk to you next time.